Alright folks, this is video number 2 of 3 videos on making this saddle. Last video we did went through materials, what equipment you need, what material we're using, and this video we're going to do how to make the template and also how to get your measurements. So first, your measurements on a mesh saddle. I like to go from center line hip to center line hip around the meaty part of your rear end. That brings your mesh, when you put it under load, right up in front of your hips, which to me seems like the most comfortable spot. So you're going to measure from the center line around the meatiest part to the center line. For me, that's 27 inches. And then you want to get the height or the depth of the saddle. For me, that is belt line to back of thigh. In my case, it's 12 inches. So 17 by or 27 by 12. Since I'm making a pleated saddle, I'm adding 5 inches into the depth, into the height or width of it or depth of it. So it's going to be 17 inches. So from that point, I get that craft paper that we talked about in the first video, and I cut out a 17 by 27 inch piece, which we have here. Once I get that cut, I mark the center line to get a center point on it, which I did, and I've already put my markings here. Now you'll see all these different lines. So from that center point, we're going to have a 2-inch back of the pleat, actually 2.5 inch back of the pleat. And the way I measured that out is I went 1/4 inch or 1 1/4 inches above the center line, 1 1/4 inch below the center line, and then you need the pleat back fold. So that's another 1 1/4 inch and 1 1/4 inch. That gives us a total of the 5 inches. I also came over here and measured up 3 inches on either side from the last line, top and bottom, and that's where we're going to bring our curvature to for the saddle. The way we get the curvature is we mark that line, we put that 3-inch line, so I set 2 screws at about 17 1/4 inch apart, I'm sorry, 27 1/4 inch apart, and that is going to be the brace for the metal yardstick that we talked about in video 1. Now on this metal yardstick, I've measured a 27 inch width. I gave some room on either side of the yardstick, so when you bend, it actually draws it forward. And then I marked the center of that. So all you have to do is you put your 2 screws or your blocks on those 3-inch marks. You take your ruler, you line those marks up to those blocks, and then you just push on the center. Push on the center and you mark it, which I've done here already. Then you turn it over and you do the same thing. Put the screws on those 3-inch marks that we have. Use your ruler as, or you put your ruler down, mark those lines to it, push it in the center, and that gives you that curve. That gives you the same curve every time, which is nice to have that consistency. Then once you do that, you cut out your template. What I do is I transfer the template over to a piece of poster board, so it's something a little stiffer. Put that poster board on top of the mesh and cut it out. And that's exactly what I did. So on the next video, we're going to go over how to actually make that pleat, sew the pleat, get all that squared away. But that's how you make the template and get the measurement.